Hey everybody, KMO here with another Out of My Head video. And it's going to be a brief follow-up to yesterday's video. First let me say, I am not particularly concerned about inflation. And I'm not concerned that the Freedom Dividend would create inflation, even if it requires some deficit spending to get it started. I'm just not worried about it. Some people are worried about it, and the viewpoint that I represented in yesterday's video is not my own. Briefly, I'll recap. It is that the Freedom Dividend is going to be funded by a value-added tax, which people who are taking their need-based financial assistance instead of UBI, they're still going to have to pay the value-added tax. It's going to drive up their cost of living a little bit, and they don't get any compensation in return. Basically, they're just left out in the cold in this giveaway. And I know the Yang Gang doesn't like to hear it described as a giveaway, but you're going to have to come up with a better response to it than just indignation. Because this is how a lot of people are going to see it, particularly older people who vote. And in addition to the VAT-based price increase on goods and services that everybody has to buy, and I understand it will be weighted, toward luxury goods or discretionary purchases rather than on staples and non-discretionary purchases. But if some deficit spending is required in order to fund the Freedom Dividend up front, this will be increasing the money supply, and it's not entirely irrational or fantasy-based to say that there could be some inflation, some price increases based on just the inflated money supply that results from that. And again, the people who are not getting any compensation for that are the ones who don't get the Freedom Dividend because they are already receiving public assistance that is need-based and is in excess, most likely, of $1,000 a month. So lots and lots of people responded by trying to explain to me, either asserting or with supported arguments, that the Freedom Dividend will not increase inflation. That's not a very good strategy. Here's a better strategy. Think about this. Suppose you are selling insurance and you're trying to sell a policy to me. And I read through the fine print and I see that this policy does not cover me in the event of attack by a wild animal. And I have an irrational fear of tigers. And I say to you, I am not buying this policy if it doesn't cover me in case of tiger attack. Now, you could argue, dude, you live in southern Vermont, the nearest zoo with a tiger is hundreds of miles away. Even if it should escape, the chances that it's going to find you and get you are so vanishingly small, it is an irrational fear. You shouldn't be afraid of that. That's a stupid thing for a salesman to say. The smart thing for the salesman to say is, let me get the head office on the phone. We're going to get you the waiver that you require so that you can feel safe and secure buying this policy. If, as is the case, the chances of me being attacked by a tiger are vanishingly small, even compared to, say, the chances of me getting struck by lightning. That's way more likely than me getting attacked by a tiger. It costs you nothing to provide that gesture of assurance. So if you are absolutely, positively confident that the Freedom Dividend will not cause inflation, and yet there are people who have concerns about inflation, it costs nothing to amend the policy and say, you know what, we are going to add an inflation rider to this so that the people who are not receiving the Freedom Dividend, who are receiving need-based, qualified assistance, that they will not be hurt by inflation caused by the Freedom Dividend. If there's not going to be any inflation, there's no reason not to give them that assurance. This is not rocket science. Okay, I'm going to keep this one really short. I do want to say, I've mentioned this before, it's just kind of a bummer. I don't know what to do about it, but the YouTube algorithm is really, really aggressive at flagging your comments as likely spam. So I go into the likely spam folder and I see all these comments from people whose names I recognize. They're people who leave good comments. I don't know why your comments are being tagged as spam. But I also see a lot of comments which are they're obviously proofread, they're long, they have links in them, and I can see why those are getting tagged as spam because that's not typically how people comment on videos. If you type up something that is long and well written and proofread and includes links and facts and figures and things, it's basically an essay that you've written. It's like a school report or something. if you post it all over the web, yeah, it's spam. It doesn't matter if it's applicable. It doesn't matter if it's good information. If you're posting the exact same text in various places, it's spam. So just don't do that. And, just for my benefit and for yours, if you're commenting on one of my videos, just make sure that the first couple of sentences gives me some indication that it was written in response to the specific video that you're posting it to. It's not hard, just a little bit of paraphrasing or summary or something. Just let me know without having to read several paragraphs that this is actually a comment on my video and not just some opportunistic, you throwing some pre-generated material at my video. All right. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you again tomorrow.